Hi guys. Ignore the fact that I look utterly disgusting. It is literally 1 o'clock in the morning. I just woke up from a 3 hour nap. Today it is June 2nd, 2020, Monday night, Tuesday morning-ish. I'm gonna make this video uncut, unedited, and raw, as most of my videos that mean something to me are, because I want to talk about the state of the country and everything that's going on with the death of George Floyd, among other Black individuals, and the unrest of the country finally waking up to the injustice that this government system has been towards minorities, especially Blacks, for years, hundreds of years, starting with slavery, to taking away rights to them, to finally having them in the 60s, to still treating people like shit all the way till now. And I am happy to be a part of a country where people are finally speaking up, where we are protesting our government, because from the get-go, that government has never had any interest in benefits for us. They were doing the bare minimum to keep us alive. We are like cattle to them, to the police. We are like cattle. They herd us all into a little cage and they keep us alive by just giving us the bare minimum. And, a few of us make it out of there alive, and we become millionaires and celebrities and influencers. But a lot of us are still in this cage of just getting by with what we get from the government and being treated like shit by our police system, who is there to protect and serve. But what they don't tell you is that they're there to protect and serve the government and not to protect and serve its citizens, as many of their true colors have shown the last 4 or 5 days since the protests began. A lot of these cops are now showing their true colors, their white supremacy, their affiliations to the KKK, and even some Black and Hispanic police officers are in it with them. And it's a sad mentality and a sad headspace to turn on your people like that, to turn on your citizens like that, to not only enact an act of war towards your own citizens, but then have the government and the president send out the National Guard to control us, to quiet us down, to push us back down to the ground and to push us back in the cage, the so-called cage we're in. There has been a lot of weapons that have been used against us throughout these protests, not only mace, pepper spray, tear gas, rubber bullets, machines and new technology that is used to block out our phones, to block out our signal, to take our connections and our IP addresses from our phone so that they can track us down at a different time, to arrest us for being at the protest, for taking advantage of our First Amendment, which is fucking insane. The fact that people are being arrested for being at the protest, for protesting peacefully, and the news, media, turning this into some sort of violent thing when it's not. It hasn't been a violent thing for protesters. The real protesters, the people who are protesting for the injustice and their rights and the justice system and the government in general have been peacefully protesting. You know, there has been people who are taking advantage of the situation, who are white, who are Hispanic, who are Black, whose sole intention is to cause trouble and break into stores and break property and vandalize shit. And they're not a part of who we are in this fight, you know. A lot of us are protesting peacefully, and we've been protesting peacefully up until the cops antagonize us and they shoot tear gas at us and they shoot us with rubber bullets. That's when we start to fight back. You know, what do they expect us to do? What does Fox News and CNN and all of these fucking news outlets expect us to do? Just sit there and take it? No, if you're being pushed, you're gonna push back. And that's what they're not reporting on. Because again, media has a script. Media works for the government. Media is in there to be in the favor of the government, to be in the favor of America, to make America look good. America is a third world country hiding in a mask of a first world country. And that's the fucking truth. Canada has better fucking healthcare than us, and that's no shade to Canada. I would love to move to Canada and have free healthcare, but not even in America do we get free healthcare. Not even in America do we get paid a fair wage to be able to live by yourself. No matter what entry job you do, you will never afford to live on your own in any sense of the word anywhere, because they want to keep us all poor. They want to keep us all at the bottom. They want to keep us all in a cage. And it's fucking time that we revolt. It's time that we have a revolution, because we've been quiet for so long. We've been silent for so long. We've been taking their shit for way too long. And now the fact that everybody is showing their true colors, the government is showing their true colors, the policemen are showing their true colors, National Guard, military, the fucking president made a statement today, holding a fucking Bible, telling people that if they don't enact the National Guard on us, that he's gonna do it himself. What fucking president turns on its own people? Obama never fucking did this. You know, Obama never turned around and said, you know what, fuck all these citizens. Just kill them all, shoot them all. Send the National Guard down there to control them. Send the fucking military down there to kill them. It's fucking insane, guys. It is so insane what is going on that it feels like a fucking movie. It feels like I'm watching a TV show, literally like right in front of my eyes. I look a fucking hot mess. I don't fucking care. Fuck it, I don't care. I hope that we keep fighting through this and that we keep protesting, because it matters, you know? What Black people had to endure for hundreds of years, and all they're asking is for justice. You know, they're not even asking for revenge, which honestly they should, you know, but they're just asking to be heard and to be listened to, and for the government to right their wrongs. But I think it's funny how for four police officers, they could have easily arrested them, charged every single one of them with first-degree fucking murder, and that would have been it. You know, we would have seen that is fair, that is injustice. You innocently kill somebody, you go to murder, you get away with murder, you go to jail, you go to prison. But no, the fact that only one of them was charged with third-degree murder, which means that it wasn't intentional or that it was accidental, while the other three, two of those three participated from a different source and a different angle that we saw a couple of days later, they have not been touched, they have not been arrested, they are still out free, and they get to just live their life on paid leave, which is just fucking insane. And then the people who have been getting killed as a result of the protest, because certain people think they can kill anybody and just get away with it, and they're proving it even with the protests, they're proving that if you're a certain color of skin, you have just fucking immunity to do whatever you want and get away with fucking murder. There was a guy who was killed, I think it was like the day before yesterday, I'm not entirely sure. There's been a lot of news on Twitter, there's been a lot of news coming out every second, so it's really hard to keep up. So I'm sorry if I sound ignorant, I'm not purposely trying to, but I just sat down on the fly and I'm just making this video as I go. I didn't research anything, I didn't plan anything. This is me speaking from the heart and speaking from my own head. But apparently some guy was trying to protect his small business and ended up killing somebody. And he got away with it because of self-defense. There was also another small business owner who was killed by the cops, and his body was left out on the streets for 12 hours because the cops wanted to send a message. There are bricks that are being planted and rocks, that are being planted out in many cities to try to entice people to loot, riot, and break shit. And the funny thing is that it's not even the protesters who are being enticed to do that. It's the other people, the bad people, who are taking advantage of a situation and protesting and breaking shit, vandalizing shit, looting shit. And then who gets the blame? We do, the protesters, the peaceful protesters, the people who are actually there to make a peaceful change. To my fellow citizens, my fellow Black Americans, Black Hispanics, whites, Hispanics, and Black citizens, keep fighting, keep protesting, revolt. Let's start a fucking revolution. I know that not all Blacks are good, not all Hispanics are bad, not all white people are racist. We have a melting pot of good and bad people, and it's nice to see all of the Blacks, Hispanics, whites, and Asians, and all other nationalities coming together to fight for what's right. And it makes me happy to see that, even though right now we are going through a very, very difficult time, not only with the protests and our government turning on us, but also with the virus that was also caused by the government. Let's not forget that. Yeah, things are crazy. But I'm there with you guys, and I support you guys, and I'm there protesting with you guys, just be safe. Curfew is another thing that that has been added to the ongoing benefits of 2020. A lot of the, pretty much every single state has enacted a curfew of some kind to keep people away from the streets and keep people from protesting by threatening them with arrest if they're out past curfew. Like, that's just on a whole other level. But I'm glad that we're not taking it. I'm glad that we're still out there protesting, up until we can. And for those of us who are protesting well after the curfews, you guys are amazing. You guys are risking it all for a change, and it doesn't go unnoticed and it doesn't go unappreciated. Now more than ever, we need people like you. Change is gonna happen. I know it is. Because we're not letting them get away with this shit any longer. We're not. People have infiltrated the government. Our people have infiltrated this government. Our people have infiltrated the police system and the National Guard system, military system. Our people are somewhere in there, and I know they'll come out, hopefully, soon, to help us. but yeah, take care, you guys. Be careful, and let's keep on fighting the good fight.